So our topic today, you guys know a lot about, correct?
Yes.
All right. It's going to sound heavy, but let's look at it as an opportunity, okay? All right. Group consciousness is a compilation of individual consciousness that share an overriding oneness or theme. Individuals with similar overarching goals, will create a group consciousness. So let me get very clear that in this room we're in a group consciousness, whether it's first time or 100th time. We are sharing a group consciousness right now. If we are staying together as a church, those that become members of the church are aligning with this group consciousness, and we're moving forward in the overarching goals of the church. But there are so many individuals. Do we all agree?
Yeah.
Well, about principles, yes, but about personality?
Oh, no.
About politics? No. There are lively conversations about differences of opinions, and people will get from a Sunday service what they need for their soul. But we agree on the overarching goals of God is our Father, we're all equal. Got it? Okay, that's group consciousness. Okay, so let me just jump in. And you guys can process with me. Hang with me a little bit, though. Don't go off on your own journeys yet, because I know you do. Jesus is a young man. He's with Ajanan, one of my favorites. And one day they were sitting on a porch at the temple porch. A band of wandering singers and musicians paused before the court to sing and play. Their music was the most rich and delicate, and Jesus said, "Among the high-bred people of the land, we hear no sweeter music than that these uncouth children of the wilderness bring to us. From where this talent and this power? In one short life, they surely could not gain such grace of voice, such knowledge of the laws of harmony and tone. Men may call them prodigies, but there are no prodigies. All things result from natural law. These people are not young. 1,000 years would not suffice to give them the divine expressiveness and purity of voice and touch. 10,000 years ago, these people mastered harmony. In days of old, they trod the busy thoroughfares of life, caught the melody of the birds, played the harp, the perfect form, and they have come again to learn still other lessons from the varied notes of manifest. These people are a part of heaven's orchestra, and in the land of perfect things, the very angels will delight to hear them play and sing." The group of people that he was speaking of had mastered music, and they had chosen to come together in their comfort zone. They had all chosen to be born in a space and time where they could come together again as a group, share their talents and abilities, which they had mastered, and learn other lessons. So they chose to come together in group consciousness in their comfort zone. You guys kind of with me? Some of you may have felt like when you were born, you chose your tribe. You were born into your tribe, and you were loved and nurtured and supported. Some of us did not get that benefit to come and be born into the tribe that we would sing with, that we have sung with many times. Some of us find ourselves looking for tribe. You guys with me? But this represents a group consciousness that said, we have mastered this together. Let's go down together again, share our beautiful gifts, and we'll learn together. How much easier is it to learn when you're in your comfort zone? Yeah, it's really easy. Because you got people that understand you. And if all else fails, you sing. You know, you got a talent and abilities. You just sing. So it is a group consciousness. Now, they were not necessarily doing karma, but they had incarnated together, shared strength and talents to learn other things. They were individuals learning individually, yet they were together as a group. All right. I want you to think about that. We're going to set that aside for a minute, and then I want you to think about the woman at the well. I'm going to paraphrase this story because it's really familiar. I go over it all the time. Anyone in Christendom has heard the story. Jesus is going through Samaria, Jesus is Jewish. The Jews hate the Samaritans because they're hybrids. They're part Assyrian, part Jewish. They married the incoming conquering clan. Don't like them, even though the Samaritans worship very similarly to the Jewish faith. They haven't lost their faith, just their ethnicity, because they intermarried. Don't like them. Jesus, no man talks to a woman, against the law. Jesus is at a well. A woman comes to draw water, and Jesus starts chatting it up with her. Do y'all remember the story? Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit you'll remember. She is the woman, and she has mouth on her. So he starts talking to her, and she goes, what are you talking to me for? You know you're not allowed to talk to me. And he starts telling her what's up, and then they start talking about things, and then he says, go get your husband. And she says, sir, I have no husband. And Jesus says, yeah, you've been with 5 men as if they were your husband, and you weren't married to any of them. Do you remember the story now? And she goes, oh, my God, how'd you know? And then they start talking religion. And she says, well, I've read the prophets. Did women read them? No, they didn't read the prophets. They didn't read the books. They didn't read the holy books. Women were still secondary. We have a woman with a mouth challenging this man who has lived her own life her own way with bravado and whatever, and who has studied God and who worships God and who has this ability to talk God with Jesus. She's talking God with Jesus. She is the first person we see in the scriptures where Jesus Christ actually says to a human being, I am the Christ. He tells this woman, I am bringing in the consciousness of God. This woman was so overwhelmed. Now, in our society, if she had been lower than moral acceptabilities, would we have listened to her? Probably not. But she goes, hang on, I got to go to town. She goes into the town and she rallies all the troops. And she says, guys, you won't believe this guy I just met. And they listen to her. The populace listens to this woman who doesn't get married, who lives outside the whole kosher thing. The town listens to her. She has this inner bravado and story. And then the town comes to Jesus at the well, he teaches them, and then he stays in this Samaritan town and teaches for days. Group karma, group consciousness. They listen to this woman. Isn't it possible that her whole mission in life was to be born into a group she did not resonate with, so she could question and she could be the bridge that allowed them to hear the teachings of Jesus? Do you hear what I'm saying? They believed her. They followed her. What we would call a courtesan. They followed the courtesan to the well. Perhaps her whole life was to affect change. She was an agent of change for a group consciousness. Guys with me? All right. I've always loved that woman, as you can tell. It's an example of being placed in an environment where you don't particularly resonate, so you can be an agent of change. This is change for the collective. So, and I also had this thought when I was working, realize that in Jesus' time, within 30 years, the Temple of Jerusalem was destroyed by 60-something AD. So Jesus, if he's crucified at 33, if the time is right, within 30 years, there's 3 destructions of the Jewish temple, but the final one is in the 60s. So in his time, the Jewish gone, the Romans are crazy trying to hunt down everybody. They even do the Masada thing. They want to eliminate this faction. How much knowledge and Christian thought survived in Samaria because of that moment with that woman? Because the Romans were not fighting the Samaritans. They were fighting the Jews. Do you hear what I'm saying? We have no idea what light got planted there that got to survive because of her. Interesting, isn't it? Fascinating. Okay. A single agent of change is still part of a group consciousness. All right. Sometimes in collective karma we move as a group. Sometimes we're in a space where our presence helps the collective. So we're building toward this, but I wanted to share with you this little bit that I wrote. When 9/11 occurred, and most of you will remember that, as a metaphysical minister, I was concerned. I talked to God. You got to talk to me, God. And I got a download long, which I won't read you, but this I will read you. Did it affect our collective consciousness as a country? No one wasn't affected. And do you remember when it happened, we were all crying, we're hugging strangers, we're talking to people. I mean, we're all one family at that point. That week, there was no separation. We were one family. Do you remember? Just everybody was connected, and it was just amazing. And this is what Spirit said. They were telling me about the people who had died, those that died in the plains, those that died in the various locations on our soil. They will come to remember, this is their spirits, they will come to remember the agreement prior to their births when they desired to contribute to the growth of love on earth. Each one of them chose to give their lives for their fellow man so that love could unite our hearts and the hearts of the world. They will each be very proud of the part they played, and the light of this act of service will remain as a beacon of love and brotherhood. Never before in our country's history was brotherhood felt so deeply than in that moment, out of a tragic situation. Never was it felt so deeply. I felt as a minister in my life that level of brotherhood would be what sustained us. It would be what helped us through the times ahead. That ultimately the love for each other would be so strong because it had come to life. We all verbalized it. We all expressed it. We all took actions in oneness. Not to fight the enemy, to love each other. Remember? That moment shifted our consciousness on the planet, of the United States. So, now we go to karma. Everybody breathe. This has been easy so far, right? Okay, now it's about you. When we talk about karma, we're talking about balancing some idea within us so that we can create good for the whole. Sometimes we look at karma as a debt. We participated in energy that wasn't good for the whole, and then we have a realization what we did, and then we have a need to go and correct it. I want to fix that. I want to balance that out. It's a choice that we make, okay? So we think of karma as balancing or giving back. You might be mean to someone in another, I might be mean to Bet in a lifetime. I'm just mean to Bet. And then I grow in spirit and I go, dang, whew, what was that about? And I go, man, I don't want to do that anymore. And so I learn how to be nice, and then I go, man, I owe Bet. I need to go to a lifetime with Bet and help her and be nice to Bet because I owe her that. Do you hear what I'm saying? So it's my awakening, my processing, my growing, my learning that makes me want to come back and return. So karma is when we're seeking to change something. Okay. Now what I'm about to share with you is based on my experience of truth. You may call it a parable if you will. I have no idea if it is true, but it is my experience of truth. It's what I experienced in the world. These are all things I went through. Ready? Okay. As a child, and I'm talking elementary school, so we're talking way back. As a child, the idea of Atlantis was talked about freely. Any metaphysical thing you pick up, it was big on the topic list. And there were many people that you would meet that said, of course Atlantis existed, and I lived there. I'm like, really? I had no personal memories of it myself. I had no affinity that I was a part of it at all. Never have. But I would meet these people, and they'd say, and it's coming back. It's like, oh, really? Oh, yes, it is. And so then I grew teenage years, and we moved to Atlanta. And everybody said, don't you know what Atlanta is? It's Atlantis reincarnated. And I went, oh, really? I didn't have any opinion one way or the other. It's like, okay, that's interesting. And then I got to be a healer and a therapist. And in real hunt therapy, you take people, sometimes you'll flip into past lives. And I flipped into, not mine, my clients, not mine, past lives of experiences on this place they called Atlantis. And there were two basic themes with my clients. There was a group of people who were living high, no problem, everything's good. And they trusted their government so much. Stay with me, I'm not talking about the United States, people. Stay with me. They trusted their government so much that they gave the government power, and they said, well, you guys are making everything good for us. Do what you need to do. We don't care. We don't care. And that was And then when things broke apart and blew up on them, they went, what the heck's happening? Oh my God, why are we dying? They were shocked. And so I'd have to rohan them and get them to realize, get their power back. Then there was another group, smaller group of people that I've worked on who were a part of an elite in Atlantis. And I've worked on them and they're going, crap, we have made it be what we want it to be and we are destroying it and I'm going to push the button now. That's, symbolic. They didn't necessarily push a button. But they consciously took the will of the people, used it in the way they thought needed to be done, and destroyed the whole sucker. Blew it up. It took three times for it to go too, but they blew it up. So I have this experience of two types of people. The one type of person who said, it's got to be my way. You guys don't know what you're talking about. You can't govern yourselves. I know what's going to sustain us and what also is going to keep me wealthy, healthy, and happy. We're going to do it my way. You hear me? And it was a priestess group. It was a group of priests of the religion, because religion and government were one at the time. And then, so what are we doing? We're pulling everybody else's power to me. I'm having it my way. When it is destroyed, what is my realization? Oops, that didn't work. Because I'm not healthy, happy, and whole anymore. I'm on the other side. I'm as dead as they are. That was the realization. It did not work. For souls like that, what would their journey be? They might need to start incarnating to try to understand the value of other people, the value of other people's opinions, the value of working together in harmony. Do you understand? They have a long journey ahead of them, don't they? And then those that willingly gave up their will and said, whatever, we're here. And then the first destruction, they went, oh, yeah, that was just an accident. And then the second destruction, is everything okay up there, government? Oh, we got this. Remember, government and religion were the same. God and I got this. And then the third, everybody's gone. The soul who did that, what would their journey be? They would need to learn how to trust inner guidance. They would need to learn. Do you think, hypothetically, if something like this actually did happen in our reality, in our world, that it would be reproduced so it could be done differently? That's karma. When we create a situation that has the same elements so the people can play different roles and create a different outcome, that is collective karma. Everybody with me? All right. Okay, so people who gave their power to the government, they might need to learn how to find their power, own their power again, and look for inner guidance. To go within to see, what is my guidance for this moment? What is my guidance interacting with this beautiful government? What is my guidance interacting with this faith? Does this resonate with me? Does it not? Do I feel happy? Is this good for me? And their inner power always connects them with God. Do you see? All right. Those that were leading the group into situations where lives were lost, maybe they will come back needing to listen to the voices of others. Maybe they will find themselves in a group situation because it was a massive group experience. We can call it an experiment as well. A massive group experience. Maybe they have to come back to listen to the voices of others. Maybe they will learn to let the majority lead instead of them. Do you hear with the possibilities? All right. Maybe these will be the ones that educate the populace. Maybe these will be the ones that say, no. Let me tell you what's happening. And then you guys make your own choices because I know you got to wait. I know you can. I know you've got your hearts. Y'all with me? So we have these beautiful two groups of people converging, participating and learning together. Now, right now, today, whether that's true or not, be with it. Right now, today, the world is experiencing group karma. Today, globally, today. Now, the karma of one country is different than the karma of another because of the dynamics and the culture and the people that were born there. This United States, we're experiencing our situation of trying to understand the group. Because is the group affecting you? The group is affecting us. 6 months ago, do what you want. Now, not so much. The group is affecting us. We are in a moment of group karma. Maybe we are one of the ones, if any of you felt that affinity with Atlantis, maybe you are one that needs to go within and find your own inner guidance and find your strength. Doesn't mean you have to protest. Doesn't mean you have to get mad. Doesn't mean you have to do anything. You just choose. Do you realize that? Finding your power within means you come back to inner choice. That's all. Do you remember how the one agent for change just happened to be at the right place at the right time? By you choosing, let's say you are one of those folks, and let's say now you're choosing. What vibration does that do to the group? It moves through the whole dynamic. Hey, one of the followers is now a chooser. Vibration shifts. All they're choosing, all you have to do is choose what you want for lunch. Do you realize that if you've given your power away, you don't even know what you want to eat? Seriously, what do you want for dinner? What do you want for dinner? What do you want for dinner? What do you want for an hour? You don't know what you want to eat. Whenever that happens, realize I am experiencing not having my power. It happens across the board. So to even choose, I'm going to make a choice right now. I'm going to choose this, and you can choose that, and we'll meet in the middle somewhere. But do you hear me? And if we can come to that choice point, we can affect the whole. And if you feel like you have been someone that misled or withheld, or there was a point in the Catholic Church when I do have ownership of this, long time ago, they voted to keep the Bible out of the hands of the common people. I was one of those people that voted that, which is why I'm here today talking to you about the Bible. You are welcome. This is part of my making it right. So we all experience both sides of the coin, where we've taken power from other people and when we've given power. We're both of those. So perhaps when we're feeling like we want to take power, maybe we listen to the voices around us. Maybe we say, I want to think about that. I want to consider what you're saying. And then I want to go with it and make a choice. You all hearing me? What if this small group of however many are out there and however many are here made this change right now for the good of the whole and for the growth of self? Would we impact group consciousness? Yes. And would we impact group karma? Yes. We would not be reproducing what we've created. And what was created then, if it was a true story, is completely different than what's being created now. But there are many ways to destroy yourselves. You got it? Many ways. Okay. So the group participating together, the group participating as agents. So there's one other thing that we can do in this consciousness. We keep our power within, choose for self, and what are we studying this month? Does anybody remember? The law of grace. And the law of grace, as I will remind you yet again, is grace breathes love into the fibers of what you have already created and moves it into a higher frequency. It's a way of bringing God energy into a world without knowing how to direct it. I'm calling forth grace, but I have no idea what's right and what's wrong, what works, what doesn't. God, it's yours. I'm asking divine light to move into this situation. I'm asking for the law of grace to be active in this situation. It moves throughout that which has already been created, that which already is, the law of grace. Now, when we feel the energy of what our country is going through, do you remember the first service on grace? Do we have the right to call forth the law of grace for our country? Why? Because we're participating in it. We can't call forth the law of grace for someone else's issues that we have no part in. But the country we are participating in is ours. So we absolutely have the right to call forth the law of grace to flood every detail of what our country is experiencing, from the politics to the virus to the food to all the situations that are being different, problems, challenges. You guys here? And because you're participating in it, guess what? You're part of it. Something in you personally is also experiencing a karmic moment. Not just the globe. Something in you is experiencing a karmic moment. And you can call forth the law of grace for your moment, your personal consciousness in this country event. Your personal consciousness. Now, some of you may feel that you're part of the global event. Some of us are part of just this country's event. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are aligned with, you have the right and the authority to call forth grace to move through that. How does that feel? Good. Okay. All right. Grace softens the effects of your karma and it reconstructs the creations. We're bringing God into what we, as human beings, as a collective, has created. So we choose. All of us can go to that. We can choose, start choosing lunch, start choosing. Do you even choose what time you go to bed, or you just happen to end up in bed when you're done doing what you do? I know most of you happen to end up in bed when you're done doing what you do. Choose when you're going to bed. Put down what you're doing and go to bed. Choose when you wake up. Choose small things. With me? Choose. And then teach what you know and honor people's choices. You don't have to keep your mouth shut. You can speak your truth. Speak your truth. But honor the choices of others. In the Life and Teachings, I couldn't find the exact quote. I know all of it, but the very last bit, so I shall read it to you. Ready? Only one person said yes, so for that person. Tamara, I think it was you. It has yet to be determined whether the choices of a few, accepted by the many, will once again lead mankind into darkness for another, I think it's millennia. I didn't know the exact word, for another millennia. It is yet to be determined if the choices of a few, accepted by the many, will once again, which means we've done this before, people, karma, will lead mankind into a state of darkness yet again. Now, if we have people making choices, even if it's only about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, are they going to be led? No. They're choice makers. No. I make choices. If we have people walking around just with power within, are they going to be led? No. It's about following your heart and not letting this global and country karma take you out of the truth of who you are. Say, I'm getting it. Okay, so the law of grace is so very, very powerful, so very, very wonderful, so amazing in so many ways. I think we should use it again. You guys ready? Okay, let's put our feet on the floor. Just feel the stillness for a moment. Feel the stillness in your soul as well as your heart. God, we ask that your love engulf us all. And we open to the knowing of the divine mind. And I ask that a beautiful calm of light come over each one. Feel your own energy surround you. Feel that you are safe in the heart of God. And just breathe in that light. And if you're willing, imagine that Jesus Christ can join you. And just feel yourself lifting up that column of light just a little bit, until you can feel that you're in a space of expansion. Expanded light all around you. Feel the value of you, your soul. That one point of light that you are. And in your mind, breathe and just call forth. You can repeat this in your mind, in your heart. I now call forth the law of grace to move through all karma and challenges and opportunities in me connected to the experience the world is going through. I ask the law of grace move through my karma personally so that I walk through these creations with ease. And now, I ask that the law of grace move through the karma of our country. Move through all of the situations that are occurring on a group level, the group consciousness. I call forth the law of grace to move through the group karma of our country. And Father, I thank you. Father, Mother God, I thank you. The light moves through the details. The light begins to harmonize and ease and make perfect and right and holy this group consciousness. I ask for ease to the karma. Grace to move through that which has been created. And let the vision go, give it to the angels, give it to the light. And come back to the awareness of yourself, that light within you, the value of you. I choose to shine in harmony, in love, for the good of the whole, cooperating with the light of God, expressing the light of God, and honoring that light in all. Feel your heart expanding. Feel the peace. And Father, we ask that the work that was now done continue to move, multiply, and grow. And we are so grateful. Feel the presence of Jesus Christ by your side. Feel as he gently just begins to bring you down the column of light. And let your focus come back to your chair where you're sitting. This is my life. This is my choice. I am light, and I am love. And we thank you, God. Take a breath. Let your awareness come back to where you sit. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Welcome to Metaphysics. And that is how we roll. Say, yay, God.
Yay, God.